Hey everyone, BDZB Comics here, and I don't know if any of you have noticed this, but when Super Smash Bros. Was announced for Nintendo Switch, there was a lot of speculation about what Pokémon could be included in the upcoming game. Pokémon Sun and Moon were really huge games for the series with a lot of unique Pokémon. Decidueye, Zeraora, Lycanroc, Mimikyu. There were so many solid candidates for a Smash character that I saw some people speculate that there could potentially be more than one Gen 7 Pokémon in Smash. But then, when Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was announced,
we've made including every single fighter ever our #1 goal, so I'm kind of hoping you aren't expecting too many new challengers.
Well, there that dream goes. I plan on doing a full video about my thoughts and feelings and predictions for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at some point soon. But there's one particular newcomer that I felt deserved a video of its own. See, there are a few types of fighter that appear in every Smash Bros. Game. Two of these classes include the joke characters and a new Pokémon from whatever the latest generation is. And for the first two Smash Bros. Titles, these roles were fulfilled by the same character, with Jigglypuff being a joke character in Super Smash Bros. For the N64, and Pichu fulfilling that role for Super Smash Bros. Melee. Since then, however, those roles have shifted a bit. The joke characters have been stuff from other games like Wii Fit Trainer, Rob, and Duck Hunt, whereas the Pokemon characters are just kind of whatever is popular at the time. Look at Lucario or Greninja. And while that's all fine and good, Ultimate will supposedly have less characters than past Smash games, so it's unlikely that we'd receive both a Pokemon character and a joke character separately. Although, with Sun and Moon being as successful as they were and the amount of fan outcry for a Sun and Moon Pokemon, it would be a bit silly not to include one in the next Smash. And while it's entirely possible that a joke character won't be included in Smash at all, if Sakurai and the devs want to do something really interesting, they could kill two birds with one stone here, making Pyukumuku a playable fighter. Now, for those who don't know, Pyukumuku is a pure water-type Pokemon based off of a sea cucumber. It has no direct attacking moves, and it doesn't evolve. Because of this, it's seen as sort of a joke among the Pokemon fandom. However, unlike other Pokemon with little to no direct attacks, like Ditto, Wobbuffet, or Magikarp, there's actually quite a bit to work from when it comes to Pyukumuku's moveset in Smash. Pyukumuku has a strange biology that lets it spit its innards out through its mouth. While this may seem gross, it's actually pretty cute, as its innards form a hand shape that allows it to form a peace sign or grasp at the ground in defeat. At least, that's what we see in the games. Fans have created numerous pieces of art depicting the little cucumber doing all sorts of hand gestures, many of which would make for great Smash Bros. Taunts. But, basically, anything you can do with one hand, from slapping to punching to performing a handstand, Pyukumuku would be capable of as well, and all of this could serve as the basis for its basic attacks. Additionally, the Pokédex points out that Pyukumuku secretes slime, which makes the Pokemon very easy to slip and trip over. This could be incorporated into its moveset as well, leaving a trail of slime behind when it runs to trip up enemies, or even secreting some speed-lowering slime when it's attacked. Whether through slime or fists, though, none of Pyukumuku's attacks would do much damage. After all, it only has a 60 base attack and a mere 30 special attack in the core Pokemon games. Instead, Pyukumuku would be a defensive character, whose heavy weight, despite its small size, would make it tough to knock out. Now, normally, the best counter for a heavy character in Smash is throwing them off the ledge, where they'd have difficulty recovering. But Pyukumuku gets around that with its stretchy innards being used as a tether. These innards are also a great tool for grabbing opponents, making Pyukumuku the first true grapple fighter in Smash Bros. History. However, this wouldn't be the main role that Pyukumuku fills. Between the heavy weight, good recovery, and moves that trap or weaken enemies over time, Pyukumuku would make for the perfect stall character to annoy and enrage opponents. Although, to fully illustrate this, I'm going to need to go over Pyukumuku's special moves. Pyukumuku's neutral special is Gastro Acid. It shoots a ball of acid up into the air, which bursts upon contact. If an opponent gets hit in the splash, they will be immobilized for a few seconds. Its side special is Toxic, where it spits out a stream of poison that leaves a lipstick-like effect on opponents, doing a little bit of damage over time. Its up special is Baton Pounce, where it throws a baton up in the air before catching it and then crashing back down into the ground, much like with Ike's Ether. If an opponent is hit by this, they'll take a bit of damage. But the major effect of this move happens when the opponent has changed their stats in some way. Like if they have the Bunny Hood on to increase speed, or if Shulk is using one of his Monado arts. Pyukumuku will absorb those stat changes and take them for himself. Pyukumuku's down special is Pain Split, and it works a lot like Robin's Nosferatu. It heals Pyukumuku while damaging the opponent. Although, that's only if Pyukumuku is more damaged than the opponent. If the opponent is more damaged than it, Pyukumuku's actually going to heal them and damage itself. Either way, this move serves to level the playing field and make things a little bit more interesting. Although, since it can have a pretty drastic effect on who has how much health, you have to be at a pretty precise range in order to use it. Now, one additional ability of Pyukumuku's is Innards Out, and this is actually its signature ability in the Pokemon games. Now, in those games, if Pyukumuku is knocked out, then the opponent receives damage equal to however much health Pyukumuku had left when he was KO'd. But since that would be very cheap in Smash, plus damage and percents don't exactly work the same way across games, this would only do a little bit of damage to the opponent when they knock out Pyukumuku. But it's still an extra little screw you. Speaking of an extra little screw you, Pyukumuku's final smash is Memento, where it knocks itself out. But in doing so, it leaves all the opponents on stage with lowered attack, and they won't be able to get their attack stat back up until they themselves are knocked out. This means that when Pyukumuku comes back on the stage, it's going to take the opponent even longer to knock the cucumber out. Now, on to the costumes. And I think Pyukumuku could definitely have some fun with its costumes. You can have one based on its shiny, which, like I've said before, and I'll say again, every Pokemon should have an alt based on their shiny. But the rest of its costumes could further its troll status. It could have a costume based off of Tapu Koko, one based off of Zeraora, one based off of Decidueye, one based off of Incineroar, one based off of Lycanroc, one based off of Mimikyu, and one based off of Marshadow. Notice a pattern here? Yeah, those are all Gen 7 Pokemon that were highly requested for Smash. Sorry, Pyukumuku beat you out. Alright, so there you go. Pyukumuku's unique design, playstyle, and status as a WTF/troll character would make it an ideal fit for a Gen 7 Pokemon in Smash. I see no reason at all why any other Pokemon should be included over. None at all! Like, not even a small reason. Not even... Okay... I guess... maybe I should address the Don fan in the room. See, aside from some funny fan art and a money-making side quest in Sun and Moon, Pyukumuku is largely irrelevant. It plays no role in the anime. It doesn't represent anything unique to Sun and Moon, like Alolan forms and Ultra Beasts, and it isn't even on any notable trainers' teams. As far as Gen 7 Pokemon go, it's definitely not as obscure as, say, Passimian, but Pyukumuku's definitely on the lower end of the relevance scale. And it's likely only going to get less relevant as time goes on. Even still, I think that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the perfect opportunity to introduce a character like this. Sakurai has gone on record saying that getting every character back was tough to pull off, and it likely won't happen ever again. So that probably means that there is going to be a reboot of the Smash Bros. Franchise soon after this. With that in mind, Pyukumuku could be added into this game and then quickly tossed off into the water for the next. Speaking of which, that should totally be its entrance animation. Have the guy that hires you to toss Pyukumukus throw one out onto the stage and just kind of flop there. That would be hilarious. But anyway, just imagine the salt to be had if Pyukumuku was included as a playable fighter. With such a small roster of newcomers, and the ones revealed so far being huge, long-standing fan requests like Ridley and Inkling, having the final character be so obscure and having such a trollish moveset would rile up the Smash fanbase so much that the reactions would be simply delicious to behold. I mean, you think that Waluigi fans are mad now. Imagine how mad they would be if a sea cucumber got a slot in the roster above their most wanted character. I almost want Pyukumuku in Smash just for that alone. Still, I want your guys' thoughts on this. What do you think of the concept of Pyukumuku in Smash? Would you welcome it or not? And are there any other trollish, sort of obscure characters that people aren't really thinking of that you want included? Let me know in the comments below.